Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Garrett with Chuckin'. You guys have been begging and pleading basically to see a follow-up video for this gun. 6.5 PRC Savage 110 Ultralight. Here it is. Basically, I had to send this gun back off to Savage. No more for the reason of just basically that I felt like the throat was cut a little bit loose on it. And when I say loose, I mean it was cut out, with a worn-out reamer tool. And I actually spoke with a couple dealers that deal with proof research barrels, and they actually confirmed with me, and they spoke with one of the owners of the company, and they said, yeah, it's probably cut out with a worn-out reamer tool. Well, I sent it to Savage. 6 weeks later, got it back after I was told a 2 to 3 week turnaround time. I don't know what happened, but I would assume someone maybe got in some trouble over it, but I don't know how it got past Savage's QC, and let alone Proof Research's QC department, why they would let something like this come out of the factory. However, it shot excellent, as you saw in the first video, even with the issues that it had. And the issue that I'm talking about is that free bore area within the throat, basically between the end of your casing and where your bullet is supposed to hit your lands of the rifling. It was extremely tight. I couldn't even chamber a factory round. I would basically get to about right here, and it wouldn't even let me cam the bolt over because I couldn't get down or close it far enough, and it would not chamber around. So you'd have to slap this back up, slap this backwards just to get the round back out of it. And we'll throw up some pictures for you right now of the markings that it was leaving on the bullets themselves. And it just wasn't feasible for me for a gun that I paid, $1,400 for. So had to get that fixed away for sure. So, like I said, about 6 weeks later, after Savage, got the gun back to me, they did not replace the barrel. They actually went through and rechambered it from what the paperwork said. And so technically this is a Savage chambering now, not a Proof Research chambering. But it shoots absolutely excellently now. But I think better than what it did before. I've done nothing to the gun otherwise than what it was before in the previous video. But to kind of recap that, it's a factory gun, factory trigger, with the Proof Research barrel. It is carbon fiber, and it's in their own profile. It's not, a Sendero or a Sendero Lite. It's kind of halfway in between there. As far as the optics go, it's a Vortex Razor HD LHT 3D15x42. This is a mil reticle with mil adjustments in the scope itself. You pop it up and you can make your adjustments right here. I do really like this system here with the zero stop. Basically, you lock it in yourself. It doesn't lock in by itself. You have to manually pop it down, but it's actually pretty handy. I have the MK Machining 3D printed throw lever here. This thing's absolutely indestructible. You can watch some of his videos on his Facebook page and Instagram. You can beat this thing with a hammer and it doesn't break, and it's super lightweight. It doesn't add any weight to the gun at all, really. And this scope definitely has more of a stiff zoom ring on it, so this is really handy to have. I also have his bubble level up front, and that really helped out as far as making long range shots with. This thing's really nice, and this is machined aluminum. As far as the muzzle brake goes, we've gotten quite a bit of questions about this thing. It's the Area 419 Hellfire. They make the Hellfire, the Sidewinder. This is the Hellfire, and it has 3 ports on it. The Sidewinder has 4 ports, and it's a little bit definitely louder. But this thing is plenty loud by itself, but it insanely drops the recoil on it. Really nice. It's all built on basically angles. So it's self-timing. You put your first nut on there, and then you can actually just jam the bottom of the muzzle brake on there, and then you can just throw it on by hand. Really handy to have. You can take it on and off if you want to fit it into a different case. You can throw it back on pretty easily. As far as the ring mount options, I know this is a big question that a lot of guys have, especially when you're talking about a higher end gun with maybe a little bit more money invested in it. These are not cheap, but it's the Warren Mountain Tech ring. It's super lightweight. It's milled out of aluminum. And what I really like about it is, I'll flip this gun around and I'll show you on the bottom here. It's got these huge bolts. And what's cool about them is they're actually pinched, so you can't lose them. You can basically take them out all the way so you can take it off, but you can't lose these guys. And you can torque them down really easily, with an actual socket versus just little piddly screws. While we're right here too, this is a Leupold Mark IV base. It's probably the heaviest piece of the whole setup, but it's super stout. So we got the gun back. It's shooting absolutely really nicely. I tried my previous loads that I had done in it before, and a few of those stood out to me as being basically the same, but also a couple of them, they didn't shoot quite as good. I don't know if it was just given the day, if it was too hot out, or maybe I just had to tweak it a little bit. But the one that really stuck out to me, and luckily I was able to find these things, is the Berger 156 EOL, and this is the Elite Hunter 156 grain. And as you can see here, it's a clodhopper for sure. It's big. It's a
giant bullet.
These guys partnered with Extreme Outer Limits. It's a TV show. You can check them out. I believe they have a YouTube channel too. But they basically designed this bullet, for heavy game, elk, moose, black bears, mountain goats at extreme distances, all sorts of, western big game, that sort of thing. But this is pretty popular, and I wanted to try it out, especially for whitetail. And yeah, we're definitely going to hit some woodchucks with these things. So I went through, and I've got a couple boxes of them, and I loaded them up, and they shoot really nicely. So I'll just give you a comparison between a fired case and a full case here. That's basically a harpoon, as Eric would like to call it. But like I said, it's a 156 Berger, shoots really well. And as you can see on the fired casing there, you can see where that gas ring now is on there. It's super nice and crisp all the way around there, and there's no blow-by happening on there as well. So pretty happy with that. It is powered by H1000, 59 grains, and these are seated at 2.780 on the, 2.980 on the seating depth, and that's purely to get them back inside the magazine. The magazine spec'd out right around 3 inches, but given the way that the magazine is built, it's kind of conical down inside there, so I had to bump them back a little bit. They're right at 2.980, and now I can fit them all inside the magazine. So, but we were able to actually test this bullet out and this loadout on 2 different whitetail this year. My dad was able to actually get the first harvest with this gun on any critter, let alone a whitetail, right out back here on our own property. Nice, healthy 2.5-year-old buck came into about 80 yards, and Dad put it right behind the shoulder. So let's check out that footage right now. I'll tell you, give him some time. Just put it right behind the shoulder. There he goes.
He's in the crack.
Hey?
I see where he went in. No.
There he is.
That's the second one, ain't it?
No, that's him. He's going down. That's him. He went down right there.
Straight out behind that maple.
Yeah, right behind the maple. That trigger's pretty light, ain't it?
He looked like he was stumbling there towards the end.
He did. He dumped right in. So we were really happy to get that buck. Pretty shocked the way that he reacted to that shot, and obviously he's rutted up. It's mid-November in the peak of the rut here in New York, but he made it about 150 yards, and I'll show you the pictures right now of the damage that it did to him. And that pretty impressive. But like I said, we were shocked how far he made it with that much damage inside of him. We were thankful we were able to also take this gun out to a longer distance. I went out hunting with Eric, and we were on a mission for a couple doe. And thankfully, we ran into a bunch of them, had a bunch, kind of down to our left, down to our right. And then right as we were getting past, into that later part of the day, right before legal shooting time happened, luckily these 2 huge doe stepped out of the bottom and went up to the top of this field. They're right at 540 yards. Eric was behind me on the camera, kind of calling me out some different distances, and dialed the scope up, 2.7 mils. Put it on her, and it went right through her heart. So I'm going to give credit to this muzzle brake because I was able literally to watch the shot the entire way. I literally watched the vapor trail swoop up and smashed her, and she went 30 yards, piled up, dead her in doornail, and we're able to harvest her too. So.
All right, I'm good. Just wait for her to stop.
Smoked her, dude. Smoked her.
We're able to harvest her too. So really awesome performance with this bullet. I didn't do a lot of damage on her as far as exterior, but her whole insides were, vaporized basically. And like I said, she only went 30 yards, put a bunch of meat in the freezer, and pretty happy with that. So, but like I said, overall, happy to have the gun back. Definitely a bummer that we had to send it back initially, but happy to have it now, and definitely putting some more rounds through it over the wintertime, and then hopefully in the springtime show you guys some nasty chuck footage. So thanks for watching, guys. Definitely sorry for a little bit of a wait on this one as far as getting a review video going for a follow-up with this guy. But it's here, and we're happy to have you guys watching it. So let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.